Dev. Hi, my name is Richard and I'm from Gulf News. I'll be talking about the economic situations in the UAE and the UK. So in the UAE, recently the government has implied a tax which is 5% into all businesses, which would affect a lot of businesses in the UAE, especially business coming from the UK, such as Marks and Spencer's, as they would have to now imply tax onto their products, which would also discourage customers to go buy them as their prices have increased. In the UAE as well, the crude oil prices have also increased, which then the government has delayed projects for businesses, which have affected Marks and Spencer's, due to the reason why is that Marks and Spencer's have an upcoming project for their new branches and selling food in Dubai Marina, which has been delayed for maybe next year. In the UAE as well, for the legal preparations for businesses to come into the UAE has been decreased, as now in the UAE you don't need a local sponsor for your business to be able to survive in the UAE, which would then affect Marks and Spencer's in the future, as now they would have better ownership, as Al Futtaim has recently acquired their business in the UAE, which would help them in the future to gain their ownership back as the same in the UK. As well as here in the UAE, the social for Marks and Spencer's, they have been gaining more of a demographic in the UAE due to that they're following trends, which would help Marks and Spencer's in the future to gain more customers and more customer rates for the future. Now to another topic in the UK economic situation. For political, in 2016, the UK had a Brexit, which was when the UK had left the EU, which really immensely have affected the UK, as the British pound has gotten cheaper, which then affected the prices of the products that the UK business has set, which for example has affected Thomas Cook, as then this had increased their inbound tourists who wanted to go use Thomas Cook and use their products to come into the UK. But the only problem is that with these businesses such as Thomas Cook, they've been losing profit due to that the prices are very cheap, and now they're setting higher prices so that they could gain more profit for the future. As well, in the legal, in the UK, there's a Fair Labor Standards Act, which is basically when wages would have to be paid to the employees of the business, which then had affected Thomas Cook, as the reason why is that they haven't been able to pay back their employees due to the fact that they're not making that much money, which makes it harder for them to pay. So in the future, maybe Thomas Cook would be shutting down due to that they don't have that many employees going into the business, or maybe they would be able to come back and restore it back to the state that they were in. Sorry, we're having a little disturbance. It's really windy outside in the UAE. As well, in social for the UK, there are also a lot of new trends in the travel and tourism sector, such as health holidays, which has been affecting a lot of businesses in the UK, such as Thomas Cook, as they're finding it very hard to adapt and create products for their consumers. So then in the future, it will be harder for them to attract more customers due to that they're not making products, which then would also decrease their customer rates for the Thomas Cook. And as well for social, Thomas Cook has been finding it very hard for them to meet the standards that the travel tourism has set. For example, Emirates. Emirates has been setting the standard of very luxurious products and very high standards of services, where Thomas Cook has been finding it very hard to set, as coming from review sites such as TripAdvisor, saying that their products are not very well maintained and very low services. Thank you. Back to you, Johnny.